We'll come to start seated. So in a comfortable seat on your mat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe your hips are on your heels for this start of class in a comfortable seat. Maybe you sit crisscross applesauce, really doesn't matter. So test out whatever feels good in your body. And just take a moment to come into your space. So the four corners of your mat, release your shoulders down. Sit up just a little bit taller. And your palms can come to your thighs. You could ground in one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, whatever feels most authentic, most grounding for you here today, even if it wasn't what was grounding yesterday. And just take a big exhale out. Take a big new breath in. And a big exhale out. One more big inhale through your nose. Big open mouth exhale, nice and slow. Know that you can keep these big open mouth exhales. You could return to some closed mouth breathing, some ujjayi breath if that feels good to you too. But take some time to notice your heart, your chest, your belly, your lungs, how they all interact, rising and falling today, using that to stay present in this moment. It's a year of 8. But not doing too much thinking about the past or too much fretting about the future, but just existing in this present moment here. Take a big inhale and a slow exhale. Start to drum your fingertips or wiggle them wherever they are. Blink your eyes open if they were closed. Maybe roll your shoulders back. Circle out your spine a bit. Just give yourself some movement. And then come to that easy seat. Palms nice and light. And inhale, reach both arms up high overhead. Stretch through your fingertips. Really root down whatever part of you is in your mat here. So your sit bones, maybe it's the tops of your feet. And then hug your ribs up and in, right? They splay out a lot when we reach up. Take a big inhale. Exhale, side body stretch up and over to the right. Reach your left arm up. Maybe you want to bend your right arm to get some leverage to go deeper. Or maybe you want to stretch it out to the side, whatever feels good. But pull your left shoulder back. Maybe you gaze up. Inhale, slowly reach back up to that seated mountain. And exhale, side body stretch to the left. So reach your right arm up and over. Maybe you bend your left arm. Maybe you straighten it and really stretch it out. But get some space in your right side body. Pull your right shoulder back to keep your heart open. Inhale, mountain, reach up. Exhale, baby back bend. Cactus your arms, lift your heart and gaze. And then check in with your neck here. So is it kind of falling back? Or can you lengthen it? Get your shoulders away from your ears. Think about a wrinkle-free neck of sorts. Inhale, lift back up to that mountain. Exhale, chest expansion grip. So bring your fingers to interlace behind you. Palms don't need to touch, but they can if it feels comfortable currently. But take an inhale, drag your knuckles down. And on your exhale, lift your heart, pull your shoulders back. It's a little bit of a back bend here. Keep your belly hugged up and in. Doesn't have to be an intense back bend to be good. Take a big inhale and exhale, cat pose. Push your palms forward, round your belly up and in. And then slowly start to shift forward to plant your palms and come into that neutral tabletop. Stack your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Anchor the tops of your feet down into your mat. And hug your belly up and in. So rather than letting your back arch, can you keep that nice neutral, strong spine? Inhale, extend your left leg back out behind you, but press your toes into your mat. So nice calf stretch here. Maybe you want to shift back and forth. This is also a great way to warm up your wrists if you want to flip your fingertips towards your thighs or palm facing up, but just be gentle. And come back to that static position here, left leg extended back. Heavy weight into your right arm and right leg. And inhale, modified side plank. Roll open to reach your left arm up high. Hold and breathe here. Always an option to adjust, to better stack your joints, to get some weight out of that right arm. Utilize your core. Lift up just a bit more. Inhale, gate pose. Rise to stack your shoulders over your hips. Send your right arm up and over. That side body stretch again, and pause here. Press into the pinky toe side edge of your left foot. Pull your right shoulder back just like we did before. And you can do whatever you'd like with that left arm. Maybe you want to get creative and lift it. Take a big inhale. And exhale, modified side plank. Shift forward. Then tuck your arms. See if you can come down nice and light on that right fingertip. Maybe you can even float it. And we'll flow those two postures, linking breath to movement. Inhale, gate pose, rise up with control. Exhale, modified side plank. Take your time. Inhale, gate pose. Exhale, modified side plank. Listen here. This time, inhale, draw your knee in towards your elbow. Crunch it in. And exhale, neutral tabletop. Come back to center. Reset. Pull your belly up and in. We'll take it nice and strong to the other side. So inhale, extend your right heel back behind you and press your toes into your mat again. So finding that little bit of rock forward and back for that calf stretch. Maybe you want to flip your wrists again to give them some love. You could also just shake them out. Sometimes that's the most effective for me. But just take a moment. How your calf feels, how your hamstring feels. Keep your core pulled up and in. And then come back to that static posture. Leg extended nice and strong. Start to heavy weight into your left hand and left leg. And inhale, modified side plank. Roll open to reach your right arm high this time. And hold and breathe here. I always have to scoop my wrist back to stack better under my shoulder. Maybe you do too. But stay nice and long through your right leg. Maybe you feel that stretch over your right hip. Notice how much weight's in your left hand. Inhale, gate pose, rise to stack your shoulders over your hips. Then reach your left arm up and over. Get that nice side body stretch and hold and breathe here. Press down through the pinky toe side edge of your back foot. Pull your left shoulder back to keep your heart nice and open. Take a big inhale. Exhale, modified side plank. Hinge forward, tick-tock your arms. And we'll flow those two movements, breath to movement, just as we did on the other side. Inhale, gate pose. Take your time, rise up. Exhale, modified side plank. Place even less weight in your left hand. Inhale, gate pose. Exhale, modified side plank. Inhale, draw your knee towards your elbow, crunch it in. And exhale, neutral tabletop, come back to center. Shake out your wrists if you need to. Flip your palms up or towards your knee. Give them some love. We asked a little bit of them. And then come back to that neutral tabletop. Inhale, tuck your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Press into the L shapes in both your palms. Maybe you want to pedal out through your knees and your feet, or sway your heels side to side. Some nice side body stretch comes out of that. But know that your feet, rather your heels, do not need to touch the ground. They can stay nice and lifted. As you start to come to some stillness, take a bend in your knees. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Step your feet behind your wrists, hips a distance apart. Maybe you find some sways right away, or anything that feels good to you here. And challenge yourself to gaze towards the back of your space to really let your head and neck do nothing. And switch out any grip that you might have come up with. Balance it out a bit. And check in with that intention of staying as present as possible here. It's easy mid-work day to let your mind wander, but try to focus on the mat underneath your feet, your fingertips, whatever might be creating sensation here. Bring your palms back through center. Toe heel your feet together to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your palms to your thighs. Extend the crown of your head forward and pause here. Shift weight into your toes. Keep your heels nice and light. Draw your shoulders back and then hug your belly up and in. Take a big inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Step your left toes back behind you. Get a nice big step in. Allow yourself to adjust however you need to feel comfortable. And press your left toes in like we did just a moment ago in that tabletop. Notice how your thigh feels, how much weight is in your palms or rested on your right thigh. Use that to stay present. And then inhale, kneeling crescent. Tap your left knee down, untuck your toes, sweep your palms up high, and hold and breathe here. Option right away to bring your hands down to your right thigh, to walk your foot forward, to find a little bit of movement here if that feels good. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just to feel how your left quad, left psoas is feeling. And then find that good placement for your right foot. Do you want it closer to you? A little less intense in that left leg, or do you want it further away? And then press it down and drag it back here, that isometric pulling together of your left knee and right heel. And then hug your belly up and in. See if you've got to drop that right hip a little bit. Take a big inhale, reach your arms back up. Exhale, half splits. Sink yourself down towards your mat. Straighten out your right leg, adjust however you need to, and flex your toes towards your face. Hamstrings might feel a little tight. Practice some kindness to yourself here. You could bring blocks underneath your palms or stay tented up onto your fingertips. There's no pressure to fold over your leg. You can keep your spine nice and long, but just keep your breath big and steady. And on your next inhale, shift forward to plant your right foot back down. Exhale up into that low lunge. Pull your thighs in together, really creating that locking base. Plant your palms into your mat. Inhale, high plank. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Puff your shoulders up to the ceiling. Now exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your feet to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Shift weight into your toes. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right toes back behind you this time. Take that same big step. Press your right toes in like you're ready to take off for a race. And notice again how much weight is in your palms, how much weight is rested on your left thigh. Maybe you can engage your core just a bit more to lighten that load. Inhale, kneeling crescent. Tap your right knee down, untuck your toes, lift your arms up, and hold and breathe here. Again, option to keep your arms lifted, or you could bring your palms down to your left thigh and kind of wiggle your foot forward, find some movement. Check in with how your right quad is feeling, so your right thigh, your right hip. And then use that observation of how it's feeling to decide where to put your left foot. So do you want it forward for a little more intense in your right thigh? Do you want it back for a little less intense? Doesn't have to be the same as the other side, but pull your left heel back. Send your right knee forward. Find that isometric locking base. And then drop your left hip down a bit. If you're like me and it's always higher on your front leg forward. Draw your belly up and in. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, half splits. Slowly sink down. Frame your left foot, left leg. And it doesn't have to be a still posture, right? This is your practice. If you want to move to the left and right, by all means, do it safely. Same option for blocks or books or something underneath your palms. But absolute requirement to keep that breath nice and full, especially dealing with hamstrings, which tend to be pretty tight. And on your next big inhale, shift your left foot forward, plant it down. On your exhale, lift your back leg up to that low lunge. Draw your thighs in together. Inhale, high plank. Step your left foot back with control. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Take a big inhale. Big open mouth exhale. Inhale, high plank. Shift forward to stack your shoulders back over your wrists. And exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your mat. You could drop your knees, but come down to your belly. Untuck your toes, really anchor them down into your mat, and slide your palms back by your low ribs. Gaze down the bridge of your nose, and inhale, baby cobra. Peel your chest up and away from your mat. Little to no weight in your palms. Pause and breathe here. Use the tops of your feet to keep your hamstrings nice and active. Squeeze your glutes to press your pelvis into your mat. Lift the back of your heart up. Take a big inhale. And exhale, lower through center. Come to send your arms out to your sides, rather in a T shape, and not just by your sides. Notice how your shoulders feel, and then draw your shoulders up into an M. So tense your fingertips up. Take a big inhale, lift like it's baby cobra. But exhale, dip your left shoulder down, gaze to the right. Nice spinal twist, especially here up in our upper back, our cervical spine, our neck. Keep your breath steady. And inhale, come back through center, squeeze your glutes. Exhale, dip your right shoulder down, gaze left. One side might feel different than the other. Remember to treat yourself with kindness here, especially doing anything with your spine. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, dip your left shoulder down, gaze right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, dip your right shoulder down, gaze left. One more inhale to come back to center. And exhale, lower straight down to your mat. Bring your palms back underneath your shoulders. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, child's pose. Sink your hips back. Maybe widen your knees if that feels good. Stretch your fingertips forward, or if it feels better for that restorative child's pose, come to sweep them by your sides, reaching for your heels. Take a moment to connect down with your mat, right? Third eye center. Maybe rocking back and forth. Holding to the present moment with these sensations, the mat under our forehead, the tops of our feet, maybe our fingertips. And take a big inhale and a big exhale. Start to slowly crawl your way back and up to a seat. Swing your right leg out long and bring the sole of your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Get both sit bones nice and anchored into your mat. Wiggling is encouraged. And inhale, reach your arms high up overhead. Exhale, pivot your chest towards your right leg and then fold over here for a seated separate leg stretch. You could keep a slight bend in your right knee if this is a lot for your hamstring, or you could just straighten it out. You should be feeling this in your QL here, that bottom left of your back, right on the side of your spine. Big place that doesn't get stretched often. And start to bring your right arm to the inside of your leg. Inhale, pull open your left arm, reach it towards the sky. An option to stay here. Or exhale, option to start to reach over towards your feet. So there is zero pressure to touch your feet here, or to even be close. But we're getting that side body stretch repeated 3 times the charm through our class. Inhale, slowly rise up. That's a big stretch. And exhale, draw your right foot in to meet your left for butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. Maybe you flap your wings. This one always reminds me of gym class, but it still feels wonderful. And then we'll switch it out to the other side. So extend your left leg long. Bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your leg. Draw your toes towards you and inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, turn your torso towards your left leg and then fold over for the seated separate leg stretch. Maybe you notice a difference right away. Meet yourself where you're at. You don't have to touch your foot. It could be your calf, your thigh, wherever feels good. Know that you can bend your knee. Getting now that bottom right hand corner of our spine. And start to bring your left arm to the inside of your left leg. Doesn't have to touch the mat, but just make some contact with your leg. And inhale, pull your right arm up, reach your fingertips high. Option to stay right here. Or on your exhale, option to reach over towards your toes. Work on opening your heart here, really rotating that. Maybe you touch your toes, maybe you don't. No pressure to at all. But feel that stretch, right? Your oblique area on your right side. And inhale, slowly rise up. That's a big stretch for that area. And exhale, find butterfly again. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. Maybe this time you walk your feet out a bit and lean forward. Getting that really nice outer thigh area here. Staying present to how these small movements, small adjustments can really change how the pose feels in your body. And start to sit up. Stamp the soles of your feet down on your mat. Maybe you've got to scoot forward a bit. Reach your arms out. And come to lower all the way down to your mat. Take your time. Feel that core turn on. And come to rest your head. Draw your feet up towards your glutes and stretch your fingertips towards your heels. Take a big inhale. Exhale, bridge pose. Lift your hips up. You can take this nice and slow. Maybe you want to shimmy your shoulders underneath you for some extra space. But press into your heels. Engage your glutes to lift. Keep your core nice and tight. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down here, slower than you think you should. Till your low back comes to rest on your mat. Shimmy your shoulders out from underneath you. And come to pull your knees up and in. Give yourself a squeeze. Really find that compression here. Feel it in your hips. And keep hold of your right leg. Let your left leg lay nice and long. Stretch through your toes. Take a big inhale. Pull your right knee up and in. And exhale, supine twist. Guide your leg across your left side body. Gaze out over your right side. Maybe you stretch out your arm. Maybe you cactus it. Whatever feels good, but allow a sense of ease into this pose here. Where is there somewhere that you could let go of tension you're holding on to? You start to gently pull your knees back up and into center. Reset your low back on your mat. Keep hold of your left leg this time. Reach your right leg long. Really stretch through your toes. Take a big inhale. Pull your left knee up and in. Exhale, supine twist. Guide your leg across your right side body. Gaze out over your left fingertips. Maybe you cactus your arm. Maybe you keep it straight. Always a chance to gaze up too, but let go of some tension in your jaw and your eyebrows. And start to gently pull your knees back up and into center. Give yourself a squeeze. And this time lift your shoulder blades up and away from your mat. Wrap your forearms around your shins. Press your shins back against your forearms and take a big inhale. Exhale, final resting pose. Shavasana. Maybe you take that traditional one, extending your limbs. Maybe you find knee knock pose, or anything else that serves you, but let yourself just exist here. Give yourself that permission, knowing it's just as productive as all of our movement. Shavasana. Know that you're welcome to stay here for as long as your midday allows. But if you're ready to transition back in or just need to, start to bring small movements to your fingertips, your toes. Maybe roll your head and neck, shoulder to shoulder. And find that expansive long body stretch. Feeling all that new space. An option to pull your knees up into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze and stay right here, or rock onto your favorite side for seed pose. Using wherever you are as that beautiful representation of rebirth, of transformation out of your physical yoga practice and back into your yoga practice that exists off of your mat. Let it be a chance to take with you this idea of remaining present, something that is so difficult to do sometimes. Start to slowly make your way up to an easy seat, Sukhasana. And take a big exhale out. Invite a fresh new breath in. Happy sigh out. Option to elevate your thumbs to your third eye center, your seat of intuition. May you always be able to anchor back into the present moment when your mind starts to wander a little too far back or forward. In gratitude for finding some of that presence today, we bow forward. Thanks so much for flowing today.